Welcome to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com, dedicated to the evolution of you because businesses grow when people do. Serving leaders, managers, and people who will be, helping you reach excellence in your work and achieve your personal goals at the same time. Sign up for the free course at clearandopen.com. If you're too busy, it means you're overwhelmed. If you're overwhelmed, what does that mean about the level of consciousness and intelligence you're operating with? If you're not operating with that kind of consciousness and intelligence, what does that tell you about the decisions that you're making? Not your best. Then that produces your outcomes. And that's your life. Hi, it's Joseph, and thanks for tuning in to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com. This episode is part 3 of the spontaneous discussion that erupted when a handful of my members showed up late to a webcast, and I decided to make a teaching out of it, to make them squirm a little bit. Timeliness is usually about everything except timeliness. It's all about the choices you made up to the point where you're suddenly running late and why you made those choices. People who are willing to examine those choices get to excellence. Are you one of those people? Do you want to be? Keep listening to find out more. So this episode is from a recent weekly webcast. Members get a ton of different ways to become better professionals, including attendance to the live courses that I teach. And beginning January 11th, 2018, I'll be teaching an 11-week course called How to Manage and Be Managed, the Missing Manual. You know, management is a lot like parenting. Many people do it and they mostly have no idea what they're doing, but they somehow make it work anyway. The result, stress, wheel spinning, overwhelm, millions of dollars in lost opportunity, and a lot of stories about how hard management is. Well, it doesn't have to be. This course is the missing manual, what we all should have been taught in high school. Forget everything you've learned about management. You don't have to motivate your employees, you don't need to empower them, and you definitely shouldn't be supervising them. Increase engagement and productivity, eliminate supervision and wasted resources. It's a counterintuitive approach. I've been training leaders in one-on-one sessions for over 15 years, offered now for the first time as an affordable course. And while the course is about training management skill, it's also perfect for non-managers because it gives employees what they need to understand what a manager is doing with them and why it's in their best interest to help. For more information about the course, please go to clearandopen.com/how-to-manage. Again, that's clearandopen.com/how-to-manage. Thanks so much for listening. Let's dive in. You know, it reminds me, I listened to a really interesting program. I don't know, was it This American Life or something? It was about fast food. And, you know, we think of fast food typically as being primarily consumed by poor people. But this is not the case, as it turns out. It's the middle class. Busy people who work tend to be the consumers of fast food. You know, not like 30 to 55,000 a year kind of family income, like that. Like multiple kids and multiple jobs and both parents working. Those are the consumers of fast food because they're busy. Poor people aren't busy. They're not working a whole lot, right? And they have the time to cook and it's cost effective by and large. But it's the busy, hurried middle class, lower middle class probably, who's consuming the fast food. What a great example of busy people making crappy decisions, right? Do you know in the fast food industry what they call someone who eats fast food more than 3 times a week? A heavy user.
Oh.
But the thing is about being, I mean, if you're even somewhat regularly not on time for things, it means you're too busy. If you're too busy, it means you're overwhelmed. If you're overwhelmed, what does that mean about the level of consciousness and intelligence you're operating with? Not your best. If you're not operating with that kind of consciousness and intelligence, what does that tell you about the decisions that you're making? Not your best. Then that produces your outcomes. And that's your life. So being on time, this is what I mean when I say being on time can change your life. This is not hyperbole. It's because being on time is just a really good metric for how overwhelmed you are. And if you're always on time, it means you're not overwhelmed.
You've gone upstream those 2 or 3 steps that you just described to find the root cause, as it were. Sounds like what you're saying. Because it is a 3 or 4 step downstream from something, most likely.
I was looking at my calendar tomorrow. I'm setting myself up for failure.
Great. And you can see that now? That's wonderful.
But see, the thing is, there's another organization I'm involved with, and I'm getting these last minute mandatory meetings and all this stuff. I'm thinking, wait a second, I had my calendar set out where it was pretty okay. Not perfect, but okay. And now I've got 2 with the same organization, just mandatory, do not miss, blah, blah, blah. And I just found out like an hour ago that, I've got to be on a call.
No, you don't.
Right.
Fuck off.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Peter. That's what I wanted to say, but I censored myself.
What'd you say, Peter?
You said tell him to fuck off.
Tell them to fuck off.
I kind of want to, actually.
To me, first reaction, a mandatory meeting 24 hours in advance, they have disqualified themselves from my life. They're disqualified. It's disqualified. Like, what? Are you joking? Because what other unprofessional bullshit are you going to have to deal with if they're doing that?
I'm already seeing it. The lack of communication, things I'm dealing with here, and now I've got to deal with more of that from outside sources.
They should be kissing your feet and begging you to come and begging your forgiveness for waiting for so long to tell you.
Yes.
I'm getting scolded if I don't.
Can you bail on these people?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Do it.
Yeah, I can.
Because here's a great example. Like I talked about before, life structures, right? So Kurt is seeing there's an organization that is constantly screwing with them. I mean, because that's what that is, with their unprofessionalism. And they're basically saying, hey, we're a bunch of overwhelmed, unprofessional people. Would you like to join us and be one of us? Right? That's what's going on there. Yeah. What will you choose? And the higher the standards you hold for yourself, the lonelier you will become. Because you will see most of the world operates in total chaos and overwhelm. I have a friend that I saw, a new friend. I don't know him that well. But we hit it off a little bit, and we've had some good connections. I saw him the other night. I went to this show, and I saw him there the other night. And he said a bunch of stuff, shared a bunch of stuff about what was going on in his life before the show. And then I talked to him after, and then he shared the exact same stuff. It was almost like it was a script. That was a little weird.
Yeah.
He is on the road to disqualification now. Right now, he's a sweet guy. He's a good guy, but it's about, he just told me something about himself, the way his mind works, his memory, his attentiveness. Did he realize he was doing that? Surely not. It's just about paying attention to these kinds of things, because I don't know how to describe it. These things matter. And, when you associate with and work with and spend time with people who waste time or are sloppy or unprofessional, they're going to pull you down or make you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're at the top of the org chart, like all of you guys are, you have the opportunity to set that standard. Just like I set that standard at the beginning of the call, and I pissed some of your shadows off, for which I do not apologize, because that's what it looks like.
You're making me think that I have a prospect that maybe I shouldn't be getting involved with. By the second interaction I had with her, I could tell she was in major overwhelm, and I named it that way. And she called to cancel our appointment the second time last Thursday I'll give her credit that she didn't wait till yesterday, which would have been the day before. But she is a whiner. She's in major overwhelm in her life, and she's whining about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering whether or not it's just going to be a mission to try to work for her if she ever calls me back to say, yeah, I'm ready to have you come and see me now.
Yeah, that's a good place to be. You're considering whether the price is worth it.
Yeah.
It's not about not associating with or working with such people. It's just about seeing it and knowing what you're getting into.
Yeah.
I have a carpenter who does work for me who is completely incapable of managing time or money. Anything else, he's great at. And it took me a little while to finally surrender. I was like trying to coach him and hold him accountable. And then finally I surrendered. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to let go. This guy cannot manage time or money. And every time I tried to hold him accountable to it, he makes excuses. Can I live with that? I've decided at the moment to live with that. I haven't found anyone better because he cares a lot. He eventually keeps his word, just not necessarily the way I would like or the way he says, but he runs a lot of overwhelm, but eventually it gets done. So when he says it's going to cost X, I multiply that times 1.5 in my head. And when he says I'm going to get it done by Monday, I hear a week from Monday. And that's what I do. That's how I compensate. And then everything is fine. And when he tells me about a real estate investment opportunity, I think, show me the land, show me the money, because I don't trust you at all in that domain. And then that same week, a different guy called me about a real estate investing opportunity who gets integrity better than 99.9% of the people in the world. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. So it's just about knowing who you're talking to.
And making informed decisions and living with them.
Yeah. So the last thing I want to say about this time thing is I want you to get excited about it, because when you're not on time, it's a breadcrumb trail to really significant changes that could happen in your life. Follow it. Just like when you're not profitable in a month, personally or business-wise, it's a breadcrumb trail. What happened? Oh boy, how did I make that happen? It may take a few passes, but that's the path of change, rather than trying, which is failing while looking good. And I have so much experience with, oh my God, I think I've probably worked with 500, 600 people now. And I think maybe 50 of them have actually wanted to change in the last 15 years that I've worked with. And it's a continuum though. It's like, you try to change on your way to actually committing to change. Trying is just a necessary phase. It's sort of like, I always think of whittling. You're whittling something, and you whittle like a stick to a point, and then one day you just lop it off because you realize that whittling is not getting you anywhere. But, with a lot of times with change, you have to whittle. We all want a result the most efficient way. We all want the outside to change with minimal effort. And we all want to get the results we want to get without having to change. That's totally understandable. That's just efficiency. So go ahead, try. But just realize that you're trying. And if you're okay with being late 2 or 3 times a month, you're not there yet.
I think that trying always ends up being more, when I use that term, it's because it's not really important to me. It's important to others.
Nice. Great.
So
great. Yeah, that's
it's
common.
a great excuse to use with my wife or my kids.
Yeah.
Something like that. But there are things I think you have to go on a journey to improve. There's other things you can do immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I find I work with a lot of utility account managers, and it's amazing how many of them it's okay to show up 5 or 10 minutes late for a meeting. And it's almost like, I don't care in North America who they are. I've never saw one show up early. They don't understand. And then I think I'll take a shot at younger people. I think they just are, it's okay. They've been conditioned, it's okay to be late. Actually, they get a lot of attention when you come in late, because the meeting's got to restart over. You get to shake everybody's hand personally like you're the celebrity. Yeah.
Wow.
I get really jacked up about that. Now, I can tell you on this, I had a lot of time trouble being late. I was early. I just didn't have my shit together. So.
Well, you seemed on time to me. You were there when I opened the meeting 10, 15 minutes before.
Yeah, it's on my clock to start trying to get connected half an hour early.
Well, the thing is with other people, it's about putting in their best interests, So like with employees, for example, helping them understand why being on time is good for them. The same way I'm trying to get you to see it for yourselves. You don't know what's going to happen. You're going to find some change that may be difficult, but it will be really, really useful for you. You'll find something that is routinely in the way. And that's a journey of self-discovery. Again, it has to do with everything except for being on time, really. And, for one, the easiest way to put it into into other people's best interests is to ask yourself, how do you relate to people who are late?
Not well.
No.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a reputation of always being on time? Do you want to have a reputation of being completely reliable? There's power in that. There's immense power in that. And the more people there are around you who are unreliable, the more power you have. You should see the reputation I have on Maui. People think I'm like a superhero just because I can actually show up on time and do what I say. Like someone was going to come here and a friend needed a place to store a car, and I have a bunch of space to put a car, and she ended up not coming here, and so she's going to sell it. And so she's got this car here that somebody left here. Well, I start it every week and let it run for 10 minutes so the battery doesn't run out, right? That's just like basic responsibility 101. She thinks I'm like God's gift to the world because I'm doing that. And I go, well, I noticed that the front right tire looks like it has a slow leak. Let me know when someone's coming to get it so I can fill it up. I have a compressor. Oh my God, thank you so much for going above and beyond. Like, this is just normal stuff. Or so you'd think. But these little things are not little because we live in a sea of irresponsibility and tardiness. Opportunities come to reliable people. And when you're not chronically overwhelmed, you'll actually notice. Thanks for listening to Manage to Engage, the Clear and Open podcast. Join us next week when you'll be a little bit closer to who you're destined to be. Until then, know that Clear and Open is dedicated to the evolution of you because businesses grow when people do. Be sure to visit clearandopen.com for the latest tools, articles, and free resources to help you on your journey. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.